Hey, this is Jay, founder of Resilience Developers. We're handy folks, pro managers, and consultants. And today I want to ask you a question. What does a forest need in order to be a forest? Nothing, really, right? A forest just is. It perpetuates itself. It regenerates. It doesn't need us to maintain it, fuel it, or replace it. It just works through regenerative processes. And yes, I know there's a bigger picture about, it gets sunlight, which is probably the main thing, outside influence that it gets. But now, what does your house need? What does your car need? What does the town or city you live in need in order to be what it is? It needs everything. It needs constant feeding from outside of itself, constant maintenance, constant extraction from elsewhere. And I think that's a core problem with how we've designed our built environment, how our cities and towns and places we live, work, and play operate, our infrastructure. We built some systems that are fundamentally degenerative in nature, and we've enslaved ourselves to them. We're literally locked in. So today I want to talk to you about why that happened and what it costs us and what a different future could look like. This is why we're here, Resilience Developers. So that forest teaches us something really important. It's a regenerative system. It recycles nutrients, materials, energy. It adapts to changing conditions through being resilient in nature, having a lot of different redundancies, a lot of different flora and fauna that have overlapping functions and fill niches, but also kind of overlap niches. It maintains itself. All the animals, fungi, everything working together. It doesn't necessarily extract from itself, but it perpetuates itself. And for most of human history, we lived within these nature regenerative systems. We lived within it. And we weren't separate, we were just part of it. And we just took what we needed, but we weren't really consciously aware of these systems that sustained us, right? We were animals, we were just in it. And then over time, we became more aware and we evolved a little bit. And then at some point, we became more like stewards in some cultures. We understood the patterns of nature, and we made small modifications that enhance our lives without destroying the regenerative nature, the capacity of these systems to just keep going without us. Literally like early versions of what we're now calling agroforestry or regenerative farming. We were doing that. In doing so, we kind of elevated ourselves. And in my perspective, that was sort of a pinnacle of human achievement. Not because of technology, we had less technology, but because we had wisdom and intuition and awareness and a respect for our place within these systems. And that was something that was just incredible and has mostly become lost or stripped away. And we made this shift now to extraction. The scientific and engineering age, industrialization, we gained curiosity and capabilities that we could have never imagined before. And we started asking, well, these little parts in this system, what if we deconstructed them and reassembled them over here in a new type of system? And we did that. And we built infrastructure, we built industry, technology. Amazing. I'm not here to say we're bad. I'm not. We're really amazing. This came out of our imaginations and manifested into the real world. And that's amazing, but they're fundamentally different than nature in that they're extraction based and they're degenerative. Our modern built environment is largely degenerative. It needs constant feeding. So now that we've started extracting and disassembling these other natural systems, we can't stop in order to keep doing what we're doing. Think about just something as simple as a car, that so many people on the planet have. It's a marvel of engineering, provides tremendous utility. The infrastructure it rides on is just enormous. Probably the largest public land in any city is the road system and the parking and all that. It drives huge portions of our economy, no pun intended. But from the moment you buy it, and lots of times before, it's draining your life. You fuel it, you maintain it, you repair it, you eventually have to replace it, and you're a slave to doing that. And it's not just vehicles, it's our homes, especially if they're built cheaply, not durable, not energy efficient, not passive heating and cooling, but just sort of mainstream. You need to fuel them, you need to repair them. they might not last hundreds of years like they could have. It's all built on the same principle of taking what you need, build what you want, and deal with the consequences later. We didn't lose the old wisdoms because it was wrong. We lost it because we gained something else, and we thought we were gaining the power to ignore consequences. But actually, we were just creating this huge debt for ourselves in the future. And like all debts, there's interest to be paid, and eventually the interest payment's too big, and you can't keep doing what you're doing. They're compounding consequences. So the vision here, what if we could design our built environments to be increasingly regenerative over time, to migrate from where we're at, take what we've learned, both the past, the last peak of our history, in my opinion, where we had that awareness to live wisely within a system, but modifying it ever so slightly based on our understandings, and combining it with this new power of technology and engineering and design that we have. Not talking about going backward or abandoning any of this tech and science. I live in a house. I like being inside with my air conditioning and my comfort, but let's combine the two and imagine a world where this growing AI, automation, robotics, engineering, all these things that are emerging right now could be integrated, where our communities are designed with diversity, resilience, and abundance, just like natural systems, where stewards work in intentionally designed environments that perpetuate themselves, so that we are actually decoupling the necessity of working the best hours of our lives away to feed degenerative systems, and changing what it means to sort of be here. Think of abundance as a default setting, where your experience of going out in the world, visiting a friend in the community, or participating in something, or having a job, might be a little bit more like going out and foraging on, a beautiful forest just made for people, And I'm not talking about, again, living outside in the twigs, and I'm talking about even better version of what we've already created for ourselves. It's not a utopian fantasy. It's not impossible. It's just a return to things that we already understood at one time and could understand at a deeper level and in design with intention now. That's all big and pie in the sky and seems a little bit intangible, hard to reach, but every act of stewardship in the built environment moves us towards that, could move us towards that. When we as contractors think about how we provide the work we provide, what it means to do this work. It's not just that transaction where we trade money for a service. That's a catalyst that moves the economy, that makes everything happen. And to those of us, service providers, and to the customer, that's where the rubber really hits the road, we think, because that's where the money change hands, and that's for the customer, what they want. But everything that happens before, our supply chains, how we hire and train employees, how we treat them, who we partner with, what type of vehicles we drive to get there, all these things, and then leading up to that actual transaction, and how we do the transaction is important. But then everything that happens after, what we do with the waste stream or recycling stream or upcycling or reuse stream or whatever, how we deal with our paperwork, how transparent we are about the outcomes and everything, our taxes, everything, that whole system, everything that surrounds that transaction is truly where all the surface area happens, the integration and the impact on the community, on our economy, on the environment, on our people, everything. Even an act as small as hiring one of our handy folk to change a light bulb can be an act that moves us towards this resilient, regenerative, abundant future. When you hire us to do anything, when you follow us, when you click like and follow, when you partner with us, that's really what you're supporting. We want to provide you an amazing service. We want that light bulb change or that remodel or our consulting, our project management, whatever you hire us for. We want it to be excellent. We want you to be very happy with that, even if you aren't involved with the bigger picture, but you know that what you're supporting is an organization and a company that's really thinking about that. this resonates with you, I'd love to hear from you. If you're thinking about stewardship in your work, I'd love to hear from you. If you like this idea, you want to be a vendor with us, or you want to teach us something that you know about stewardship in the built environment, any of that, please give us a shout. The links are below, how you can get to us, how you can reach me personally or our company, how you can get us to change a light bulb for you, or whatever the case may be. All right, Jay with Resilience Developers, Regenerative Systems Builder. Thank you very much.